Last time you and I connected, it was in Mattawa at a festival called Voyager Days. I know you do a lot of gigs, so I don't know if you remember that one, but that was when the stage was right beside the water and Washboard
Yeah.
Union opened up the show.
Yeah, absolutely. That was sick. We love it up there. I think we've been up there twice now. Once forever ago, and then this last year, obviously.
And so here we are a few months later talking about the new single. You didn't hear it from me. And I mean, I feel it, and I've heard other people say it, that this is the best thing that the James Barker band has done yet.
Oh wow, that's the kind of stuff we like to hear. I mean, I do feel like there's something special about this song. I feel like you do as a writer. A lot of the time when you're in the room, you're banging your head against the wall, right? But then when you leave the room, if you got one, you know you got one. You know what I mean? You listen back on the drive home or whatever to the work tape, and you know. And this was one that Travis Wood, who I wrote it with, and we write pretty much everything together. We were talking. The end of the week, we wrote the song like a Tuesday or Monday, and he hit me up. He's like, "That's the best song I wrote this week," and then we were talking the end of the month, and he's like, "That's the best song I wrote this month." And it was one of those things where we got to the end of the year, we're like, that might be the best song we wrote all year. And just something special about it. You know what I mean? It's like, just feels honest. It feels like a hit. Obviously, it's hooky, all of that stuff, but just feels true. You know what I mean? Feels like something you would say.
Well, and that's high praise from Travis because he's written some monster hits in his
Travis,
career.
Travis has some under his belt. So
Yeah. So you and Travis have worked together several times over the years. What about Jordan Minton, who was also a writer on the song? Have you worked with him before?
yeah, I've written quite a bit with Jordan. Jordan's
Okay.
awesome. I haven't written with Jordan as much as I have with Travis, but like I've cut a few like songs that I've written with Jordan. Like we wrote New Old Trucks, him and I, and Hunter Phelps and Casey Brown. And then we wrote another song that was on an album of ours, last album, called Rain All Summer. So we've written a few together, and Jordan's obviously awesome. I think Jordan just had a number one with Bigger Houses, and Travis just had a number one with, or maybe hopefully soon with Jordan Davis's current single.
Nice. Yeah,
I Ain't
yeah,
Saying. Yeah,
yeah.
Travis wrote that too. So it was a good room.
So what's the process? So the three of you guys, are you all together in the room? And it's like, hey, listen, I got an idea, or like, do you come with an idea, or do y'all stare at each other and somebody strums a chord and says, okay, there's where we start, sort of thing?
No, we were all together. So we were writing in Travis's studio. It was like the basement of a Creative Nation publishing company, which is just like a little house. I said publishing company, but it's just a house on Music Row. And I always try to come loaded with ideas just because I like kind of am constantly thinking about that stuff. And I like to always have like a bit of a what I would call like a blueprint. You know what I mean? I don't like to be like, here's an idea, sounds like a cool thing. What do we do with it? I like to be like, well, here's an idea. I think that it could be written from this angle, and this could be your setup for the hook, and this is maybe the direction the verses go. You know what I mean? So that it makes it a lot easier for them to be like, oh, then you could do this, you know what I mean? And then you can just get the ball rolling easier. And I had pitched this idea, you didn't hear it from me, a bunch of times in rooms, and people were like, I don't know about that. And so I had kind of started developing it more. I'm like, well, why did that not click? How can I develop this more? And so when I had pitched that, it was pretty fast that we figured it out. I think that like we were I kicked it around, and I think the one that kind of made it click was I was like, word on the street, like is the kind of thing. It's like, oh, it totally makes sense. This dude is broken up over this girl. And everybody knows it, and he's just dying for someone to tell her how broken up he is over it. You know what I mean? And that was kind of the once you got to that point, there's a lot of like still effort that goes into it. But once you're like know where it's gonna land, it's a lot easier to figure the rest out.
Lines like "My coffee's full of whiskey," "My bed's been staying empty," "Every song I hear better." Was there a line that didn't make the song that you thought, oh, that could work, and then it just didn't make the cutting?
Oh man, for sure there would have been. It's so funny. Like whenever we actually like end up cutting a song, I always have to submit the lyrics, right, for like the label and all that stuff to make sure the lyric video and all that stuff is right. And it's funny because I get like, so I do it all just in like notes in my phone or like Word doc or whatever. And when I go to send them, because I try to keep like pretty good like record of it, because when you write like 6 or 7 times a week, it's easy to forget, right? Like you write so many songs, you just on to the next one. And so I go back, and whenever I go back and check the notes, there's like this much, whatever it is, like five paragraphs of the song, right? There's three verses or two verses, three choruses, sorry, and a bridge. And the bottom is just like that times 10 in lines that didn't make it into the song in like different versions of it. That's how it is. I always have to clip off the end. And so I'm sure there was like, honestly, like probably 100 different versions of those verses before we got them.
Let me throw some quick questions at you. What is full strut?
Full strut is a oh, it's because I wear the hat that was full
Yeah, you
strut.
wear the hat in the video.
Yeah. It's just a merch company. That hat looks sick, but it's like for anyone who like goes turkey hunting or whatever. It's like
Okay.
when a turkey's like when a Tom or a Jake or whatever is out there, they're in full strut.
How many ball caps do you wear in the video? Because there's several.
Is it the tree?
I think it's either three or four because there's a couple of quick cuts that I was trying.
I I have so many hats. It's funny. I think I probably wear this one because I really like this hat. But I have like, if you talk to my wife, she is so annoyed because people give you when you're an artist, they give you free hats, right? And
Right.
so like growing up, I was like, I always wore a ball cap, we're farmers or whatever. And so I always love getting free hats. You know what I mean? I always say like I paid $60,000 for a hat and got a free truck, that kind of thing. And but so I'm a big hat guy.
You mentioned your wife. Okay, so everybody talks about AI and all that nowadays. So I went on AI and I said, "Tell me a quirky random fact about James Barker from the James Barker Band." This is what AI gave me. So I don't know if this is truth, false,
Oh
or whatever.
no.
It says, before meeting his now wife, James had an online date that led to an awkward encounter with her mother.
I mean, that's kind of true, but it's about my wife. It's before, I guess that's right. Yeah. So when I first met my wife, so we met on Tinder, classic, modern family situation.
Right?
And I didn't realize that she hadn't told her mom she was going on a Tinder date. I guess she was like a little bit like her parents are going to be
Right.
sketched out if she's meeting a dude she's never met before, right, online. But obviously, like being kind of like trying to be a country gentleman. She lived in the city. She like lived in Toronto, and I'm from a couple hours away. Um, I like went up to the door, right? Like I'm not gonna go outside and like text and be like, here. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go up and like knock on the door. And so I went and knocked on the door, and her mom didn't know anyone was showing up. So she like answers like, can I help you? Like thought I was like a sketch bag or whatever. And I was like, I'm here to pick up Stephanie. And it made like for a super like then Steph like blitzed out and was like, no, I gotta go by and like blitzed out and then had to text her mom and tell her what was going on. And I was like, oh dang, that was our first meeting. So I actually met her
Okay.
mom and her dog before I met her.
Well, there's your AI question right there.
Wow,
Okay.
that AI did a good job. Yeah, it did a good job.
What's next for the James Barker Band? Obviously, you got the new single. Is there a new album coming? What?
I don't know if I told the full album, but our game plan, with Universal is release more music in 2025 than we've ever released in any other year, and we're already kind of away to that. We've cut a whole bunch of songs, and we're working on. We just got off a call with Universal about the next batch, and so we just want to put a bunch of music out there. Like we're writing constantly, right? And in these last 2 years, we haven't released half of what we've written, not even like a tenth of it. And so just to release a lot of music so our fans can kind of get what they want.
Awesome. Well, hey, the new single is a great start for sure. So, congratulations on that. It sounds awesome. I always say, it's one thing to listen to a song off the laptop or whatever, but when you hear it on the radio in the mix, that's when you can really tell if it's a monster hit, and that one certainly is. So,
I still haven't even heard it on the radio yet, so I hope you're right. But you're right. It does. It's different when you hear it on the radio. There's something. There's like an energy to it.
awesome. Well, we look forward to more new music and more new hats as well. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll keep you posted on the hats.
Awesome. Thanks, James.
Thanks, Kevin.
Okay. Bye.